How's it going, y'all? Dave Robinson here with Work Your Stories. Welcome to Work Your Stories Wednesday on the Aux. So today's quote to start off this session is by Ludwig Wittgenstein. And he says, "The limits to our language are the limits to our world." The limits to our language are the limits to our world. How true is that? How true is that? When you really think about it, the words that we use on a regular basis define our reality. Literally, they define our reality for ourselves. So when you gain awareness of the words that you're using, how they're helping you and how they're hurting you, it gives you the ammunition and the ability to start honing in on language that serves, language that moves you forward, that architects what you want to create. Okay? So there's a fantastic podcast I listened to recently by Tim Ferriss, author of 4 Hour Work Week, amongst many other books, Tribe of Mentors, Tools of Titans. He interviewed Jim Collins, who is about 60 years old and a fantastic teacher, author of Good to Great, wonderful author. Really a true master of his work. And there were a number of things that jumped out at me during this particular podcast. I'm going to highlight a couple of them for you, including one that I'm implementing now personally since listening to this. So every night, Jim tracks himself, basically, right? Jim has an accountability sheet, an accountability spreadsheet. I've been doing something similar for a while as far as my accountability to my daily movements, right? My daily exercise, bettering myself physically. But Jim's taken it to a whole new level because every day he writes down 3 things on a spreadsheet. In one column, he has a description of his day. Quick little journal entry, maybe this long, bullet pointed out essentially what he did over the course of the day. In the second column, he has a log of how many creative hours he worked that day. Creative hours. Now, as an author, as a researcher, as a teacher, those creative hours are your money hours. Those are the most important hours. I've added 2 more columns to that. I've added a coaching hours column and an active hours column. So I have 3 columns. I have creative hours, coaching hours, and active hours. And those are 3 things that I track on a daily basis. And the final area of this spreadsheet, the final thing that Jim is keeping track of is he's rating his days. And he's using a very, program-oriented, mathematical-oriented approach to this. The best days are +2s. Great day. Everything was smooth. Really great vibes, really great energy at the end of the day. And the worst days are -2s. Pretty good days a +1. C day is a 0. And a pretty poor day is a -1. So the interesting thing here is that over the past 30 years, Jim has averaged over 1,000 hours per year. That's his running 365 average at minimum, is 1,000 creative hours per year that he's working on. And what it does is it starts to give you real data for what's working for you, when you're feeling great, when you're accomplishing a lot, and allows you to get ahead of those time frames where maybe you might tend to either put on the brakes or maybe go too fast and too hard, right? So for me, it's helped me to hold myself accountable to what I do on a daily basis, as well as it's a great tracking tool for, again, how many hours I'm active, how many coaching sessions I'm doing, and where my creative time is being spent, how much of that. So the last piece to this podcast that I thought was so interesting was Jim talked a lot about defining and finding your hedgehog. If you can't find it, create it. So what's a hedgehog? In Jim's description, a hedgehog has to have 3 different parts. It's something that you love, that you're passionate about, okay, that you're going to do regardless. All right? It's something that pays, which is very helpful. The third most important piece is it's something that you're encoded for, something that you're born to do. It's not just something you're good at, all right? So when you're working on trying to find direction or clarity or a career, or wondering if this thing is the thing or if that thing's the thing, or is the grass greener, should I start this side hustle, should I quit that career, should I go apply for that job, whatever it may be, look for that hedgehog. Do you love it? Are you passionate about it? All right. Does it pay? Can you actually make money doing it? And are you encoded to do it? Are you born to do it? Because there's a big difference at doing things that we're good at, or maybe that we've just been doing. Doing things that we're not passionate about, but we're good at it, but it pays well. It's going to be unfulfilling. The most fulfilling, satisfying lives come from going all in on those things that you love and those things that allow you to make the biggest impact that you can possibly make, the impact that you like to make, that you want to make. So be very specific with your words, especially as we get towards the new year. We're going to have a goal setting session to round out the year. Next week's going to be more about habits, routines, how you can create a routine that betters you, that serves you, that helps move you forward. What little things can you add? What little things can you subtract from what you're already doing to set yourself up for a happier, healthier, wealthier, more inspiring 2021? So we'll dive into that next week. As for this week, check out that interview by Tim Ferriss and Jim Collins. And check out workyourstories.com, because story work is my hedgehog. Story work is the thing that I'm encoded for, the thing that I'm born to do, and the thing that I'm best at. So if I can help, I'd love to chat with you. Thanks for listening, y'all. Grind on.